The rebirth of humanity, the legend of Noah. Sometimes history whispers something to us in silence, but in recent years, those whispers seem to have awakened with a tremendous voice. News from all over the world, extraordinary discoveries from expeditions on mountain peaks, ancient texts hidden beneath the earth for millennia being read again. All strangely point to the same story, Noah's Ark. This topic no longer remains confined to religious texts. In Mesopotamian clay tablets, in ancient Sanskrit texts in India, in Turkic epics in Central Asia, and even in the mythologies of the indigenous peoples of the Americas, the same scenario repeats. The world was engulfed by a great flood. One family survived, and humanity was rewritten. Different peoples, different continents, different cultures, but the same event? Is it just a coincidence, or the trace of a truth preserved as a secret, passed down through millennia? Recently, something has changed, and it is truly remarkable. Scientists are not moving away from the story of Noah. On the contrary, they are approaching it. Evidence of flooding found in rock layers, remains of ancient trees discovered on peaks, strange, ship-shaped structures uncovered on Mount Ararat, Mount Judy, and other mountains, misunderstood fragments revealed through the translation of ancient languages. These are not mere coincidences. All point in the same direction. Perhaps the story of Noah is not just religious, but a memory of a real historical event. And perhaps the fact that this story is resurfacing right now, in this era, is no coincidence. History seems to say, if you are ready, I will show you the truth. Secrets hidden for millennia may now be revealed. In this video, we will trace those secrets, from ancient searches to the new evidence brought by modern science. If you enjoy exploring the hidden sides of history, lost civilizations, ancient texts, and knowledge concealed for thousands of years, subscribe to the channel. Let's unlock the secret of the millennia together, because the answer may be closer, more real, and more incredible than we think. The resurfacing secret of history, Noah's Ark and Durupınar. Many of us remember this story only as a legend, in the Quran, the Torah, the Bible. But the story of Noah's Ark does not end with religious texts. Millennia-old cultures, from Mesopotamia to India, from Central Asia to the indigenous peoples of the Americas, tell the same story. A great flood came, one family survived, and humanity spread again. In early 2025, the Noah's Ark Scans team conducted research in the Durupınar region of Turkey. Radar, GPR, scans and soil analyses revealed strange traces within the formation. Voids in the lower layers, tunnel-like structures, and three-story sections. Soil samples contained clay, marine sediments, and mollusk remains, estimated to date back to around 3,500 to 5,000 BCE. This information caused a major stir in both scientific circles and the media. Some news outlets presented it as the Ark found, while others cautiously reported anomalies detected. The Durupınar formation had drawn attention since 1959. From satellite and aerial images, it resembled the outline of a ship. The 2025 research showed that GPR scans revealed straight lines and voids inside. Soil samples contained marine origin materials. Carbon and stratigraphic analyses dated the layers between 3,500 to 5,000 BCE. If these layers are related to human activity, for example, construction remains or charred wood fragments, the claim of the historicity of Noah's story is strengthened. But we must remember that anomalies do not automatically mean a ship. Geological and biochemical processes can create similar patterns. Noah's Ark, the greatest maritime engineering marvel in history. Noah's Ark is considered one of the most astonishing engineering projects in human history. In the book of Genesis, Bible, Genesis 6 verse 15, God himself specifies the dimensions of the ark, 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. Converted to modern measurements, this is approximately 135 meters long, 22.5 meters wide, and 13.5 meters high. If we compare these dimensions to everyday life, the length of the ark is equivalent to that of an official football stadium, and its height corresponds to a four-story building. Brown, 2007, Walton, 2012. These proportions have been continuously analyzed by modern naval engineers. The length, width, and height ratio of the ark is calculated as approximately 6 hours 1 minute point 1 seconds, which ensured maximum stability and resistance to waves. Emerton, 2018. The construction of the ark was not just about measurements. The choice of materials also played a crucial role. The exact meaning of the term gopher wood used in the original Hebrew texts is unknown, but experts speculate that it may have been cypress, cedar, or a highly durable type of wood not yet existing. Mazar, 1990, Walton, 2012. This demonstrates the advanced engineering knowledge of ancient civilizations in selecting water and moisture-resistant materials. Modern naval engineers believe that these dimensions and proportions could have provided a structure even more stable than the largest contemporary cruise ships, as the ark was designed to minimize the impact of waves in stormy waters. Emerton, 2018. Thus, Noah's Ark is not only a religious symbol, but also a marvel of ancient engineering expertise. Noah's Ark, an enormous marvel filled with life. Imagine a massive ship stands before you, as long as a football stadium and as tall as a 4-story building. You slowly step inside. Everything is orderly, yet astonishingly complex. The lower deck, the ark's strongest and heaviest section, is reserved for the largest animals. Elephants, giraffes, and hippos move quietly, their footsteps softly shaking the wooden frame of the Arkansas. Each animal has its own space. Walls and beams keep them from touching each other. Approximately 1,000 large animals occupy this deck. Every step and breath demonstrates the ark's stability, a structure built according to God's measurements, defying both the animals and the forces of nature. Looking up, you ascend to the middle deck. Here, medium-sized animals are housed: sheep, goats, horses, pigs, and some predators. About 2,000 animals inhabit this deck. They graze quietly in their spaces, accessing food and water as needed. Walls and traverses manage their movement safely, allowing them to live in peace without touching one another. Then you reach the upper deck. Here, small animals and birds are kept. Quails, parrots, ducks, pheasants flutter their wings, while small rabbits and mice play in their nests. Reptiles are kept in controlled temperature and humidity. This deck houses approximately 3,800 small animals and birds. Everything is in order, with ventilation and lighting operating perfectly. The ark's floor is slightly inclined. Waste flows automatically into lower containers. Large clay vessels provide measured food and water for each animal. Olive oil lamps illuminate day and night, and natural air ducts ensure continuous circulation of cool, clean air throughout all decks. But the sounds never cease. From the lower deck come the steps of elephants and giraffes. From the middle deck, the roars of predators. And from the upper deck, the chirping of birds. The roar of waves and the patter of rain add to the symphony. Amid all this noise, Noah's family tends to the animals in their designated, quiet zones, feeding, watering, and maintaining order on the ark. Imagine all this managed by only 8 people: Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, and their wives, for 370 days. Every animal survives, every deck fulfills its function, and every sound and step is governed by divine order. This ark is not just a massive construction. It is a prime example of modern engineering, divine wisdom, and meticulous planning. The fall of humanity and Noah's Ark. Once, the world was calm, livable, and harmonious. People lived off the abundance of the earth, showing love and respect to one another. But over time, the gentleness of hearts faded and consciences weakened. People obeyed only their desires, oppressed the weak, and ignored the poor. Jealousy, hatred, and envy prevailed everywhere. Abundance made them selfish and dissatisfied. Then, people invented gods for themselves. They made statues from stone, metal, and wood, and worshipped them. But no statue could fill the emptiness in their hearts. Humanity drifted away from God, losing moral and spiritual guidance. Fratricide, violence, and injustice became part of daily life. People did not yet understand that one day, ego and greed would sweep everything away. Humanity was already at a crossroads during this dark period. And it was at this time that Noah was born. From childhood, he was different. He saw the sins of people, carrying both concern and hope in his heart. God sent a voice to his heart, not merely a warning, but a call that encompassed the entire universe. O Noah, warn your people so that they may fear God and avoid sin. Surah 71:1-2. Despite the mockery of the people, Noah patiently and mercifully obeyed God's command. He was not merely giving a warning, he was setting an example. He showed people that faith, patience, and compassion could shine as a light even in the darkest times. God said to Prophet Noah, O Noah, build an ark by my command. This ark will protect you, the believers, and a pair of every living creature from the flood. Noah accepted this great responsibility and persevered even in the face of difficulties. His people mocked him, but Noah measured each tree and carefully selected every plank. The ark was designed not just for humans, but for all living creatures. Zones were created for animals to rest comfortably, with food and water storage, controlled areas for reptiles, and special perches for birds. When the ark was completed, the floodwaters were approaching. Noah brought the believers and a pair of every animal aboard. Everything was ready. The ark was not only a physical refuge. The protecting force was faith and love for God. The flood and the rebirth of humanity. The world, once filled with sin and ego, changed in an instant. The gates of the heavens opened. Rain poured from the skies with such force that mountains and hills seemed submerged. Rivers, valleys, and plains merged together. Every human being faced the consequences of accumulated sins. But inside the ark, everything was different. Prophet Noah and the believers were protected by God's command. The ark slowly moved through the waves. Animals were settled patiently and calmly, every living being under God's care. People on the ark prayed, seeking protection from God. The flood was not only a physical trial, but a moral one. Humanity witnessed the consequences of its sins. Ego, wealth, hatred, and denial followed one another, leading to destruction. Fratricide, idol worship, oppression, every sin came one after another, and the flood broke this chain. Gradually, the waters receded. The dark clouds in the sky dispersed, and the sun began to appear on the horizon. The world was no longer the same. Everywhere was covered with sediments and soil brought by the waters, yet silence and calm prevailed. Everything that perished in the flood became the backdrop for a new beginning for Prophet Noah and his family. Noah and the believers stepped onto the land. The Quran mentions, "We withdrew the waters. The ark rested upon Mount Judy, and Noah and those with him were saved." Hud 1144. This moment marked both a physical and spiritual new beginning. The world now existed in its purest form, clean, empty, and ready for new life. A lesson was imparted to humanity. Ego, greed, and disbelief lead to destruction, while faith and patience are the keys to salvation. The Torah also recounts this event. Noah was inside the ark. The flood covered the world. Yet the Lord preserved him and his family, giving life to the world anew. Genesis 7 verse 23. The Gospel of Matthew emphasizes, Noah obeyed God. The flood covered the whole earth, yet by God's command, the ark remained safe. Matthew 24 verses 37-39. Now the world had to be rebuilt. Noah and his family took the first steps. Every step, every breath, symbolized new hope. The flood was not merely a catastrophe. It was the spiritual purification of humanity. They cultivated the land, establishing a new society. Prophet Noah was not only a physical, but also a spiritual leader. People listened to his words, following his moral and ethical guidance. The Quran says, "O Noah, those with you will believe, while the rest will perish in their sins." Surah 71:1-2. After the flood, humanity learned that sins, ego, and disbelief follow one another, bringing destruction. But faith, patience, and obedience strengthen one another, creating life and hope. The world had opened again for a new beginning, and the earth was prepared for the history of a new humanity. The past and today. Millennia ago, in Noah's time, people had strayed from God, lost in ego and wealth. They obeyed only their desires, oppressed the weak, and neglected the poor. Idol worship, fratricide, and violence were part of daily life. Humanity was in a kind of moral chaos. Ethics and conscience weakened, and the connection with nature and the world around them was broken. Sins followed one another, and ego and greed covered the world like the first drops of the flood. Modern humanity is not much different, though the form has changed somewhat. Through technology and science, the world has developed greatly, yet moral and ethical challenges remain. People still struggle with ego, wealth, envy, and anger. Sometimes, there is disrespect for nature and fellow humans. Sometimes, social injustice and inequality are observed. Some show help and compassion, while others pursue personal comfort and wealth. The difference is that today humanity is more informed, technologically capable, and able to learn from the past. Yet sins and ego still carry the risk of leading us astray. In Noah's time, sins followed one another sequentially. Today, global influences and technology can accelerate this chain. Wars, natural disasters, social injustice, and environmental destruction extend the consequences of sin across wider areas. This comparison shows that humanity is always faced with a choice: act with patience, faith, and compassion like Noah, or let ego and moral weakness lead to destruction. Even if a physical flood does not come, the world's problems and humanity's moral collapse can be seen as a modern flood. If you want to draw inspiration from this ancient story and remember the lessons of humanity, like this video and subscribe to our channel. This way, you will stay informed about future stories and continue exploring the secrets of human history together.